Skyscraper cranes that built our world. A huge number of the world's tallest buildings share a remarkable secret. They weren't just built, they were hoisted into existence piece by piece by a fleet of machines from one legendary and surprisingly little-known company. These titans of the construction site weren't born in Germany or the United States, but in Australia. This is the story of how a small welding shop transformed into a global powerhouse, and how its revolutionary climbing cranes allowed humanity to build higher than ever before. This is the story of Favco. Section 1. The problem of building tall. For most of history, building tall was a battle against gravity fought with brute force. Ancient monuments rose on the backs of thousands, using ramps and primitive lifting devices. As the industrial age gave way to the first steel-framed high-rises, derricks, complex webs of masts and booms, hoisted steel beams skyward. But they were slow, cumbersome, and had one fundamental problem. They were stuck on one level. To build higher, the entire derrick had to be painstakingly taken apart and put back together on the new top floor. As architectural ambitions soared past 10, then 20, then 50 stories, this process became an agonizing bottleneck. How could you build faster? Construction schedules stretched into years, and the sheer logistics of lifting thousands of tons of material hundreds of meters into the air became an engineering nightmare. The world needed a new way to build, a machine that could not only lift immense loads, but could also grow with the skyscraper it was creating. The age of super tall buildings was waiting for a solution, a crane that could climb. Section 2. The Australian Innovators. The answer would come from a pretty unlikely place, not from the industrial heartlands of Europe or America, but from Australia. In 1923, Arthur Favelle and Harry Cole started a small automotive repair and welding shop. For decades, the company evolved, but it wasn't until the 1960s, under the leadership of Eric Favelle, that the firm, then known as Favelle Mort, pivoted to crane manufacturing and set its sights on the sky. They weren't just building cranes. They were rethinking what a crane could be. They knew the problem wasn't just about lifting power. It was about efficiency, speed, and independence. On a crowded city construction site, space is a premium, and you can't always count on having access to the power grid. Any new design had to solve these core challenges. Section 3. The breakthrough diesel hydraulic power. Favco's game-changing innovation was the diesel hydraulic luffing jib tower crane. Unveiled in the 1960s, it was a radical departure from the electric cranes of the era. By putting a powerful diesel engine and hydraulic system directly on the crane, Favco cut the cord. Their cranes no longer needed to be tethered to a massive ground-based power source. This meant they could operate on any site, no matter how remote or early in development, ensuring the work never had to stop. The luffing jib was another key advantage. Unlike a fixed jib or hammerhead crane, a luffing crane's arm can be raised and lowered. This allows it to maneuver heavy loads in tight spaces without the jib swinging into nearby buildings. An essential feature for the dense city centers, where the biggest skyscrapers were going up. But the true genius was integrating a hydraulic-powered climbing system. This technology gave the crane an almost biological ability to grow. It could literally climb the structure it was building, keeping pace with the project's ascent into the clouds. Section 4. Conquering New York. The World Trade Center. The world took notice in the late 1960s. In New York City, the most ambitious construction project of its time was underway. The Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. The lead contractor, Tishman, needed a solution that could keep up with the project's immense scale and speed. Instead of relying on a dozen slow-moving derricks, they turned to Favco. 8 of Favco's massive STD 2,700 climbing cranes were commissioned for the job. With a 45-ton lifting capacity, these diesel-powered giants became the workhorses of the site. New Yorkers watched in awe as the Australian kangaroo cranes, as they were nicknamed, seemed to leap up the sides of the towers, floor by floor, lifting steel and concrete with unheard-of speed. The World Trade Center project was a massive success for Favco, cementing their reputation on the world stage and proving that their technology was ready to build the future. Section 5. The Crane That Climbs. So how does a crane climb a building? The process is a clever piece of engineering. Favco's cranes often use internal climbing, which means they rise right through the building's central core. Here's how it works. The crane's tower, or mass, sits inside a large steel cage called a climbing frame, which is secured to the building's main structure. When it's time to jump, powerful hydraulic rams in the frame push the entire upper part of the crane, the operator's cab, jib, and counterweight, upwards by 1 or 2 floors. This creates a gap in the mast below. The crane operator then uses the crane itself to lift a new mast section from the ground and slot it neatly into that gap, where workers bolt it into place. Just like that, the entire structure is taller. This process can be done in just a few hours, allowing the crane to ascend with the building, always in the perfect position to keep working. Section 6. A Dynasty of Giants, the M-Series. The success of the World Trade Center was just the beginning. Favco continued to innovate, launching its legendary M-Series of diesel hydraulic cranes, a lineup designed specifically for the extreme demands of modern megaprojects. Models like the M760D became icons. A team of 3 Favco cranes, a 760D, a 440D, and a 380D, were used to construct the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa. Later, 2 M760D cranes returned to New York to build the One World Trade Center, rising from the very ground where their predecessors had made history decades earlier. For truly monumental tasks, Favco created the M2480D, which remains the world's largest luffing tower crane. Developed with its partner Mar Contracting, this behemoth can lift an astonishing 330 tons. It's so powerful that it's used not just for skyscrapers, but for constructing nuclear power plants and record-breaking bridges, lifting massive prefabricated sections that slash construction time. Section 7. Building the icons. With their unmatched speed, power, and climbing ability, Favco cranes became the go-to choice for developers racing to build the world's tallest structures. The company's portfolio is a who's who of modern architecture. The Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur, the Shanghai World Financial Center, Taipei 101, and of course the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, all were built with the help of Favco's climbing giants. The company's cranes have played a defining role in high-rise construction, with one 2025 report noting they helped build 11 of the world's 13 tallest buildings. They have become the silent, indispensable partners in our planet's race to the sky. Section 8. Pushing the final frontier, the Jeddah Tower. Today, Favco cranes are at the forefront of the next great leap. In Saudi Arabia, after years of delays, work has officially resumed on the Jeddah Tower. If completed as planned, it is set to be the first building in human history to surpass 1 kilometer in height. And once again, Favco is there. 3 of their diesel hydraulic cranes, 2 M390D models, and an M390DS sit atop the structure. The choice was clear. For a project of this unprecedented scale, located on a site where reliable grid power couldn't be guaranteed, Favco's self-contained, fast-climbing cranes were the only real option. Their ability to climb efficiently is critical on a tower with over 157 floors. As construction on the Jeddah Tower pushes towards a projected 2028 completion date, Favco is once again proving that when humanity decides to build higher than ever before, their machines will be the ones doing the lifting. Section 9. Beyond the skyscraper, global dominance. While famous for skyscrapers, Favco's engineering extends far beyond city skylines. The same principles of robust design and heavy lift capacity have made them a leader in other demanding sectors. You'll find Favco cranes on offshore oil and gas platforms, in shipyards assembling massive vessels, and even installing the next generation of wind turbines. The company's strategic vision also fueled its growth. In 1995, it was acquired by the Malaysian group Mahibah Engineering, and 2 years later, it acquired the Danish firm Kroll, famous for producing the world's largest electric hammerhead cranes. This move diversified its portfolio, allowing it to offer both diesel hydraulic and fully electric solutions for any market or environmental rule. From that small welding shop in 1923, Favelle Favco has become a truly global, diversified engineering leader. The story of engineering is a story of overcoming what seems impossible. If you enjoyed this look at the machines that build our world, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We've got more stories from the frontiers of construction and design coming your way. Conclusion: the legacy of Favelle Favco is etched into the skylines of our most ambitious cities. Their innovation didn't just create a better crane, it fundamentally changed the economics and logistics of construction, making today's super tall skyscrapers possible. The diesel hydraulic climbing crane was the key that started a new chapter of architectural history. From the twin towers that once defined New York to the kilometer-high spire now rising in the Saudi desert, Favco's machines have been the unsung heroes, lifting our world to breathtaking new heights. They're a powerful reminder that sometimes, to build the future, you first need to invent a better way to climb.